We recently just hit 100K over here on YouTube. The plaque is in the background. Getting that YouTube plaque, I feel like people downplay it. Like, it was one of the hardest things I think I've ever done when it comes to this whole social media journey. It was not like hitting 100K on TikTok. And today I'm going to be breaking down my YouTube Bible, you could say, my whole YouTube guide of like literally everything I know, everything I've done wrong. I'm kind of like pulling myself out of coaching retirement today. It's going to feel like a coaching session. I haven't done that in a really long time. This is not a normal episode. There's no content ideas, no after hours, no nothing. It's just a full deep dive whole meeting on YouTube. We have a lot to discuss today. I'm going to be breaking down like every mistake I made, unfiltered things I've never really shared before. I truly feel like I have made all the mistakes for so many years, so you don't have to. You're so welcome. And I'm just so excited for this. In my opinion, I just think YouTube is the future of social media. I feel like it is the best platform to be on, but I think it might be one of the most difficult platforms to grow on because nobody talks about it, and we're going to talk about it all today. If you're new, by the way, welcome to Busy Blooming. This is your digital office of social media and content creation. Over here, we're all podcasters, content creators, social media managers, influencers. We're people who create on social media. And we clock in every single week at the Busy Blooming office. If you're new, subscribe. Subscribing is like grabbing your desk and introduce yourself to your new coworkers down below. We will welcome you into the office for your first day at work. So with all that being said, let's just get into it. I'm so excited, and let's clock in. Get your notebooks out for this one, and let's go to work together. Okay, so when talking about growing on YouTube and really making YouTube your business, one of the hardest things I had to navigate when doing all this was trying to figure out how can I convert people who watch my content on social media to sales, whether it's for my store, my coaching, my courses. It can be so hard to navigate, and I wish I had something like Brevo, because one of the most effective ways to convert views, people who watch you on social media, to sales is doing email marketing and SMS marketing. But I know it can be very overwhelming of like how to set that up, but it is so important. So I'm so excited that today's episode is sponsored by Brevo. I'm going to break down exactly how you can use them. Using Brevo, you can seamlessly create a system to connect with those people after they view your content. For example, you can create a form or a landing page for your link in bio where people can sign up for your freebie or an email list, and then you can use it to create tons of different ways to connect with your audience. SMS messages, automated flows, email marketing, but also the ability to text your followers is one of the most powerful marketing tools. SMS marketing is so overlooked, and it can be hard to figure out, but with Brevo, they make it so easy to do. Like, how cool is that? Someone sees one of your pieces of content, and then you can text them or email them. Brevo is truly an ultimate all-in-one platform that you need, and it even brings everything you do together, like landing pages, forms, emails, SMS, all into one beautiful dashboard, so you aren't jumping between 10 different apps. It's all organized for you in one place. So to start scaling your business and converting views to followers and really feeling control, go check out Brevo. You can check them out at get.brevo.com/Tess, also in the description and the pinned comment. Use my code Tess for an extra 50% off their starter and their standard plans for your first 3 months. It's amazing. This offer is only for new paying customers, so definitely go check them out. And thank you so much to Brevo for sponsoring today's episode. And let's clock in and keep going with Tess out of office. Okay, I'm going to start with my best piece of advice. So I would have paid, honestly, like $1 million to have learned this 5, even like 6 years ago. Is the golden ticket to growing on YouTube is opinion, and bold opinion at that. I don't know why we do this, but we gatekeep the value of our video so much without even realizing it. In titles and in thumbnails, for example, if you were to say how to grow on YouTube in 2026, or how I lost 50 pounds, or don't do this one thing to grow your business, this is how you're going to glow up. What we're doing with titles like that is we're not even saying your opinion or your hot take or the takeaway of the actual video. Your title and thumbnail in the video say what you actually did, like your actual opinion or takeaway. I lost 50 pounds by cutting out sugar. Instead of saying what's going on in social media right now, say TikTok is dying in 2026. You have to give the takeaway or your opinion in the title and stop like gatekeeping and hiding it under these generic titles of like the guide, how to, etc. If you don't look at your title or your thumbnail and it doesn't have an actual opinion or takeaway, like you should be able to get a piece of value or piece of advice from the title and thumbnail without even clicking on it. That is the golden ticket. I used to do this all the time talking about social media. I'd be like, how to grow on social media in 2025. How to grow on TikTok. But once I started putting opinion in the title, it like actually changed everything. Like, don't make a title, stop doing this to grow your business. Say, stop doom scrolling to grow your business. Like, say what the actual thing is to stop in the title, and then people will click on it. Speaking of all that, I'm going to break down my like exact golden formula that I would do, even including vlogs, because I know we got a lot of vloggers over here, and I love vlogs. We're actually going to bring vlogs back over here. But this is my like breakdown golden formula of exactly what I would do on like a technical front with YouTube. So firstly, in the title and the thumbnail, I would have an opinion or takeaway right there. I would make the title like one sentence that is a bold opinion. It should cringe you out, but there is some sort of takeaway from the title and the thumbnail. It has an opinion, a hot take, etc. I would make the video like 15 to 30 minutes. For the thumbnail, I would do a screenshot thumbnail that's very simple, maximum one overlay on it, and a little bit of text with, again, some sort of opinion or bold thing that like no one else could say. No one else should be able to have your title and your thumbnail. That's a good temperature check too. Anybody could say, here's how to grow on social media in 2026. But no one can say something that is so uniquely you and like your opinion, your hot take. That is what content is. Then when people click on the video, you're going to address right away the title or the thumbnail. There's no intro music. There's no preview of your vlog, nothing like that. Even if you're doing a vlog, you want to have the first clip say what you said in the title and thumbnail. For example, let's say you're doing a vlog of like a week in your life recovering from a breakup or something. When they click on that vlog, there's no like big gorgeous mashup of everything. You're going to have this is just my opinion. You're going to have the first clip say, I'm going through a breakup and here's a week like getting into it. And then you get into the vlog. You're going to have timestamps, and the timestamps are SEO, which we're going to talk more about in a second, but you have to have timestamps. You have to. Timestamps come up in YouTube search. So make them like SEO friendly, like something someone would type. You're going to add 3 hashtags to the description, and you're not going to write your titles with ChatGPT. We're clocking it. I see it. Even if you don't use the M dash, I don't care. I know when you're using ChatGPT. You're not going to write your titles and you're not going to write your scripts with chat. Like, we know. That, I think, is the golden formula right now for what works on YouTube. Let's talk a little bit about titles and thumbnails, speaking of all this. By the way, if you're in Busy Blooming HQ, I literally made like a Canva template of thumbnails that like you can use. I have a deep dive workshop on like titles and thumbnails and tons of stuff in HQ. But for today, what I will say is when it comes to thumbnails, less is more. Less is more. I used to spend endless hours on thumbnails. Like, actually, thumbnail psychosis would occur every single Monday morning. I would have it up on the TV. I'd be like on my Canva on the TV for hours and hours and hours with different Canva collages and Pinterest and like all these different things. Less is more. Seriously. I think a good thumbnail formula is what I just said, a screenshot with maybe one overlay and then a little bit of text with another opinion. And then for titles, I had this title formula for so long that it got to a point where I swear people were like, this is a Busy Blooming like coded title, where it's like, you're going to blank in amount of time. Like, you're going to be a full-time content creator in 3 months, or you're going to be a full-time content creator in 2025, and here's how. I don't do that formula anymore just because I don't really do like coaching tip style videos anymore, except for this one. But that formula does work quite well of like, you're going to blank, making it outward focused, especially like advice videos. If it's a vlog, you could say something like, we're crashing out this week, or we're going to rebrand our lives this week. If you're going to make it inward focus, I also think that's fine. I just did that earlier this week of like, I stopped being a YouTuber and then hit 100K. But if you're going to make it it has to be like a very bold opinion. Another thing, I've said this before, but you can't have the title be the format of the video. Week in my life, I'm like a broken record with this, but week in my life, day in my life, those are formats of like executing the topic. Like, day in my life doing what? Like, day in my life rebranding my 9 to 5 mental health. I don't know. If anyone could repeat your your title and stick it on their video, it's not you, as Alyssa would say, it's not you coded enough. Bold opinion. Just like nail that in your head. It should be embarrassing. My titles and like thumbnails on YouTube are so embarrassing. ChatGPT will make you have 1 million followers. That's embarrassing, but it worked. Okay, a couple of things that I think don't matter as much as I used to think they did and like obsessed over is firstly, posting at the same time every single day, every single week, like posting every Monday at 10 a.m. will help the algorithm. It actually won't. The algorithm does not work that way anymore. It only is based on click-through rates and retention. So if people are clicking and if they're watching it. I think it's great in an ideal world to have a posting schedule like we do Monday mornings here at Busy Blooming. But what's more important than that is a good video. So if your video has your good energy, opinion, it's like well thought through, all of that is more important. So the same time, same like every single day, every single week, like it doesn't matter. YouTube individually tests your videos, which we're going to talk about. But that just like doesn't matter. The same time every single week, who cares? You can go to your analytics and see like, okay, what time is everyone online and like post then. But if you post one day on a Tuesday and the next week on a Thursday, it doesn't matter. Would I post at 3 a.m.? Probably not because no one's online. But I think you see what I mean. Another thing in my opinion that does not matter is editing, like B-roll, text, graphics. In my opinion, I just feel like none of that matters. I used to spend endless hours on editing. I love editing. I have edited videos since high school. Like anyone else do music videos in high school? I love editing. I used to put so much like big text and tons of different things behind my head and whatever in these videos. Those hours and hours and hours spent were kind of a waste. Like I could be making another video, working on something else. This definitely comes down to like your personal brand and your brand on YouTube. If you want to really be known for like editing, you definitely can. But I just feel like don't feel like you can't post a good video if it doesn't have a bunch of editing. Channel banner doesn't matter in my opinion. Don't waste time on like channel banners. I would spend so many hours. I don't know if this is like a me thing that I'm projecting, but I would spend so many hours in Canva doing like a channel banner. For what? Who cares? Another thing that doesn't matter is SEO. Let's talk about the algorithm a little bit. SEO is like the most old school approach to YouTube of like, okay, let me see how I can get my video in the search. More people, go to analytics. You will see more people are finding your videos from the home page or their subscriptions box. People will find it through the search, which I'm going to talk about my formula for this. But what is more important than having your title be like searchable, SEO friendly is that it's clickable. People just need to click on it. Is anyone going to click on here's the secret tip that I'm not going to tell you in the title until you click on the video? No. Someone's going to click when the title has the secret tip. What I will say is keywords in there is important. So you don't want the whole title to be SEO. You want the title to be bold, opinionated, but there's 1 or 2 keywords in there. For example, I'm going to put the word YouTube in this title. All my videos have either social media or influencer or content creator. I always name the target audience or the goal or the topic in some way. YouTube got rid of their trending page back in July of 2025. They even said they know that social media is becoming more quote unquote niche, dare I say. So what this means for us, what this means for content creators is that having some sort of keyword in your title is so important, but don't water down the title by being searchable. Like it's boring. Like how to grow in social media with ChatGPT. That's boring. I'm not clicking. ChatGPT will get you 1 million followers on social media. That's interesting. It's the exact same couple of keywords. How to, like, just cut it. Okay, another mistake I made is kind of 2 things in one. But firstly, treating my content in the same way people with millions of followers treat theirs, but also prioritizing what I wanted to do more than like what works for where I'm at. What I mean by this, and I've talked about this before, but with the podcast, and not to bring up HQ again, but we just did a big live in HQ where I dove into like specifically podcasting on YouTube. So you can go check that out. But one thing I actually mentioned in that live was that podcasting on YouTube, in my opinion, is not any different or shouldn't really be any different than a sit down video on YouTube in 2026. They're just like blending into the same thing, which is what I talked about on Monday as well. But when I first started podcasting on YouTube, I would have like this really cute intro. It had like intro music that Busy Doing Podcast. Like I loved it. As much as I loved it though, you gotta cut it. That is what people who have really big established podcasts could do. But if you're trying to really grow on YouTube, you gotta cut things that maybe you think are cute and you like. Like I would love to have that today on the show. but I just know it works better to not have it. Same with thumbnails, adding your podcast cover art, saying like, welcome back to the podcast, doing any sort of like intro about myself this week, like all cut, as much fun as it is. And when it comes to YouTube, I feel like you need to get really like have this honest conversation with yourself about what actually works right now on YouTube and strike the balance between what will grow your channel and what you want to do. At the end of the day, this is going to sound harsh, but social media is not a creative outlet solely if you want to grow on YouTube. It's just not a creative outlet. It is. Like, it is a creative thing, but a creative outlet and the creativity in a way comes secondary. Again, if you want to make this like your business, not to be like the creativity fun sucker. What I'm trying to say here is I think it comes down to like figuring out what you want to do and like what you want to talk about and making it work within the parameters of the styles and like what is working on YouTube. Like, let's say, for example, you really want to share vlogs, like you want to share a week in your life. You have to get real that sharing a generic week in your life, it doesn't work on YouTube. It's just not how you grow. It's not. But that's not to say you can't vlog. That's not to say vlogging is dead. I actually think vlogging is great. But if that's what you want to do, you have to think, okay, how can I do what I want to do and make it fit within the parameters of what works on YouTube right now? Using vlogging as a vlogging style, attaching to a bigger theme is just what works. It's the harsh truth. Also, maybe if you want to do vlogs, maybe you do sprinkle in a sit-down video that relates to the same topic as your vlogs because those will probably do better, but you still do both. So it's kind of like, I guess, strategically sacrificing, not always doing 100% only what you want, which again is this mindset of like, that is what people with millions of followers do, but that's not how you get there, in my opinion. Another mistake I made with YouTube is thinking that more is better. I was like, okay, I'm going to post 3 times a week. Do you know how many times over the years of posting 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, because I thought more content's better on this channel. Even a couple of years ago, we tried Mondays and Thursdays. In my opinion, 1 video a week is perfect. One of the biggest takeaways for me in YouTube in general has just been that less is more. With thumbnails, with editing, even with the length of videos, with scripting, I would spend hours and hours and days scripting videos that were like an hour long, like really, really deep diving into a topic. But I could have split those into like 3 20-minute videos. Another mistake I made as well, kind of going back to doing what you want, is you have to trust the YouTube numbers are telling you something. They don't hate you. I've talked about this so many times about being in like a victim mindset on social media. YouTube specifically, I do have to say, TikTok especially, I don't like this mindset, but I might say if your video isn't doing well on TikTok, I don't think necessarily it's always the video. TikTok's algorithm is so like all over the place. Instagram is a little more honest, but I think YouTube is the most honest algorithm. If something is not working, it's because people are not clicking on it. And when they click on it, people maybe aren't watching it. I used to really try to gaslight the YouTube algorithm of like, I know what works. For example, I think it was maybe the end of 2024, the beginning of 2025, I posted this brand deal video. And I'm like, I know people want to hear about brand deals. I know they want to hear about it. I literally did a video that took me hours on going through my like exact rates of how much I charge on TikTok for brand deals. That video flopped like so bad. And I was thinking, no, people do want to hear about this. So I did another one on brand deals. That one also flopped. Don't push and try something more than twice. It's so easy to get into YouTube insanity loop of like the same thing over and over and over again. I feel like specifically with YouTube, it's so hard to get out of this loop. There's so much unlearning that comes with YouTube, especially if you're somebody who's watched it for so long. I actually did a YouTube video all about like how to grow on YouTube a while ago. I'll link that in this playlist. But I've watched YouTube forever, like from the By Sister era. I watched Fred. Like, does anyone remember Fred? All the beauty gurus, like back to school videos, like all of that. So when you're a creator, especially now, there is so much unlearning that you have to do. And I think that's why it causes this cycle, because you're like, no, week in my lives do work. If I just keep going and posting the same thing, eventually they'll get a different result. Eventually they'll just pick up. They won't. That's like me. I'm like, well, if I keep talking about brand deals all the time, that's kind of a bad example, but like eventually pick up, like it won't. If YouTube is showing you something is not working, believe it, instead of trying to gaslight the YouTube algorithm. It knows. YouTube takes so much testing, so much testing. That's why I think I say getting that plaque has been so hard over the years. I can't even explain the hours and hours and like months I have spent trying different things on YouTube over the years and like constantly adjusting. I still adjust every week of like the different thumbnails, with the titles, downloading my analytics reports, trying different hooks, different packaging, different topics, trying vlog style, sit down, more podcasting, less podcasting, different segments, different tones. Like, it takes so much testing, and I think that is why people do like throw in the towel with YouTube, because it takes a long time to figure out what works. But if you're not trying something new, you will never figure it out. Don't try something new twice and then say, well, it doesn't work, I'm gonna go back, because what you're going back to doesn't work either. What will work for you on YouTube, you might have just never done before, and it's maybe an iteration of what you're doing now, but you have to like iterate. You have to try and evolve and pivot and test to figure it out, and it's hard. It is so hard. I don't want to downplay that at all. Growing on YouTube is like, I think, one of the most difficult platforms to grow on. It's such an entrepreneurial mindset of like failing fast, but it's such a fun platform. Like, I love it so much. Another thing I have found so hard with YouTube is breaking up with perfection of the content and trying to get more in the mindset of like, people will take something away from this video, rather than trying to make every single thing I say and every single word and everything I do like so perfectly valuable. I would again spend like days scripting, trying to get this mindset of like, okay, I'm gonna film this video once and people will get something from it. Like, maybe if it's even not the whole video, even if it's one thing I say, that is good. Trying to get that done is better than perfect is so hard with YouTube. I would say every single episode, even like Monday's episode, when I was editing that video, I'm like, I wish I could refilm this. Like, I should refilm it. I'm probably gonna watch this back when I'm editing and think, I wish I could say that different, or like, that would be better if I said that. I have never ever posted a video and thought this is perfect ever on this entire channel. But with being consistent, eventually you just have to post. I have posted videos so many times in like episodes on Busy Blooming that I'm like, this is like not helpful. Like, I need to refilm this, I need to redo it. But at the end of the day, you have to move on, like do the other parts of your business. And then people comment on that video, it's like, this was so helpful. You just always don't know what people will resonate with as well. So trying to get out of this headspace all of the time of like, it has to be perfect, I need to refilm, I need to script it better. And just back yourself and trust yourself. Like, you know what you're talking about, especially filming if you can, like when you're in a good mood, and just trusting like your energy is also really important. That I think probably has been the hardest part for me, is posting content that I'm not like deeply obsessed with, because I'm just such a like naturally controlling, like obsessive person and like perfectionist, that it like pains me to click post on a lot of the episodes that are like fine episodes. When I watch them months later, I'm like, that was a really good episode. But force yourself, if you relate to that, like just force yourself to just post. YouTube's a little different than TikTok or Instagram too, because you know, you can post all day, 3 times a day. YouTube, the videos take more time to create, so you get less data all the time too. So you got to get your data. You got to learn by doing, and you have to post the videos, obviously. But it's hard. It's not as easy as people make it seem, of just like, post your videos. There's a lot that goes into it. It's very deep. When it comes to your YouTube brand, this is so important. I actually have a whole video on like building your brand world. I stand by that for YouTube. I feel like building a world on YouTube, like a cohesive collection, is so important. One of the best things I ever did 3 years ago was wipe my YouTube channel, private everything, and start fresh on the same channel. I feel like it's a huge myth that like, if you have an old channel, your videos like won't work anymore. This is my same like beauty and health for girls beauty guru channel from 2011, like is the Busy Blooming channel. But one of the best things I ever did a few years ago was wipe everything, private everything, and start fresh. That didn't feel like it aligned with the brand of who I wanted to be and like what I wanted to do on YouTube. And I just stopped settling. Like, I've talked about a whole episode about this, but I feel like my content, like the quality wasn't that good. The vlogs were like kind of random. The podcast episodes were like not very thought out, not very researched. And I just like raised the bar. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get a 4K camera, put more thought and effort into my scripts, create a really strategic brand, and just like raise the bar. Like that is the way I want to be one day. So I'm just going to be that way now. Okay. I think that is everything I wanted to say. Coaching Tess has really made a comeback today. And this video in combination with my other video on YouTube, and then I feel like together really package up all of my thoughts on YouTube in 2026, what works right now, all my mistakes I shared in a vlog I did a while ago, also in that video. So go check all this out. But I hope this was helpful. This was so much fun. Thank you for clocking in. Thank you so much for being here and coming to work with me. And I hope you're doing well. And I'll see you on Monday. Okay, bye.